The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
Here's the question that was floating around our newsroom as the Celtics were salting away their latest win over the Portland Trail Blazers. If Payton Pritchard was a everyday starter in the NBA, how good would he be? Like, what would his stat line be? There's been 11 games this year where he's played 30-plus minutes. So let's call that like starter minutes. 18.5 points, 5.5 assists. His assist-to-turnover ratio, 8.57 to 1. 57.4% from the floor, 48.2 from beyond the three-point arc, 3.73 a game. Celtics are 9-2 in those contests. Payton Pritchard is second in the NBA right now in net rating, so it doesn't even matter if he's playing starter-like minutes or just playing his usual role. He's been super good. And tonight, he doesn't even hit that little starter criteria that I threw out there at you. He plays 25-44, goes for 10 points in the fourth quarter, 5 of 8 shooting, 6 assists. As that stay-ready group outscores Portland 31-22 in that final frame to get them to the finish line. What's up, everybody? POSTGAME POD 78 coming to you after the Celtics take down the Portland Trail Blazers 124-107. And Payton Pritchard and his stay-ready buddies were excellent in this game. Sam, Hauser, Svi Mihailuk, Payton Pritchard, Xavier Tillman play the 4 guys who play all 12 minutes in the fourth quarter, a little bit of O'Shea and a little bit of Luke in that mix. And yet again, Joe Mazzulla just kind of throws the keys and says, all right, get to the finish line. Against a Portland team that was giving the starters a whole bunch of fits. Payton's plus 19 overall. That's going to boost him. He had slipped behind Sam in net rating. I think he'll now leapfrog him, be trailing only Derek White in that category. Payton's been really good. And I know we've brought it up 1,000 times on this program over the course of the season, but you just think about it again. Last year, wasn't playing, was frustrated, wanted the trade, didn't get the trade. Comes back, not only rewarded with what now seems like a bargain, 4-year, $30 million extension, but not only has he been a great third guard, but he's just given you routinely quality play off the bench, steady play. He takes care of the basketball. We've seen probably the last couple of weeks, he's just been probing more. I think we call it the Nash, where you dribble like at the basket and you're not necessarily going up, but you're looking for something, and you can either get yourself a shot. He's been crafty with his finishes. And when the situation has required it, he can hit you with some scoring. Post-All-Star Payton Pritchard, 22 games, 10.4 points, 47.6% from the field, 38.2% from beyond the three-point arc. It's been really good. There was only one downside in this game for Payton Pritchard, and it was midway through the fourth quarter. Gets out in transition on a breakaway, no one in front of him, no one really even behind him, and goes up on the wrong leg, finishes with a little finger roll on the left side of the glass, and his teammates were all over him about not dunking it. Payton Pritchard has one dunk to his name. I believe it happened down in Orlando in the 21-22 season. Same situation, breakaway, went up, got that hand over the rim, threw it down. And hilariously, as Luke Cornett is giving him the thumbs down from the sideline, the vibes are really good here. And you can tell when they can give him a little grief for not providing the highlight moment with an opportunity to do it. But more often than not, whatever the game is required, Payton has given it to him, and that whole stay-ready group really helping out. And so, just spinning it forward to the playoffs, like, look, I can't sit here and say, like, there's going to be a huge role for Payton Pritchard. I do think he's shown throughout this course of this season that he can hold up defensively if they lean on him. So even if Drew and Derek see their minutes spike up to, Derek should probably be around 40 minutes and Drew's probably going to play mid-30s. Good things, there's not going to be a lot of a need for a third guard, but I do think there'll be opportunity for Pritchard out there. especially in games where you need that spark. And let's face it, you just go through the history of the Celtics in the playoffs. Their best teams have always had a little bit of a bench spark. So whether it's Hauser or, even we'll throw Al into that mix, even as sort of the de facto top six guy. Hauser, Pritchard, one of those guys has to have night where they change the complexion of a game and steal you a win, or just give you a spark to wake you up a little bit, or have a good stretch. And for everything we've seen from Payton Pritchard this season suggests that's possible. But a couple more things before I kick it over to my colleagues to gush about Payton Pritchard as well. Jaylen Brown hits 10,000 points in this game. Little left-handed layup too for all the haters out there. Only the 15th Celtic to do it. We knew it was coming, but you look at that list. 12 of those guys, of the 12 of the 15 that have scored 10,000 for the Celtics, their names up in the rafter. The other three: Jason, Jaylen, and Antoine Walker. So you can make the case that Jason and Jaylen could potentially someday see 0 and 7 up there as well. We all know what that's going to require, and it starts with at least winning one championship, and sometimes you need two. But if those guys are the cornerstones of this moving forward, and the way they're piling up points, they're going to climb that list and be right in the thick of it by the end of it all. And so it's just kind of intriguing. It's a good reminder to step back and, we sometimes fixate on what players struggle to improve on. Jaylen has been really, really good this year, and you'll hear him talking to Abby about hitting 10,000 points. And, hopefully, as he says, hopefully there's 10,000 more in the future. And the other thing, I cannot end this podcast with Robert Williams back in town without just taking a moment to yet again revel in seeing Time Lord there, seeing the little graphic they put up. My buddy Adam Hillsbach reports that the Celtics were told do not run from Rob's camp to not run a tribute video, which is like the most Rob-like thing. I don't think Rob has talked to reporters lately, just kind of laying low, rehabbing, doing his thing, doesn't want the spotlight on him. But I'm glad he got at least a little bit of that moment. You could tell, just even hearing it from the crowd when he came out to the Portland bench, and then seeing his teammates afterward and the hugs. And look, things are going really good here in Celtic land. I still completely understand the trade and all that. But I'd be lying if I said I don't miss Rob. And I miss just being able to kick on a Blazers game and watch him in action out there while he's rehabbing the knee. So let's hope he gets healthy. Let's hope he eventually gets traded back to Boston. And we'll go from there. All right, here's more of our postgame show.
Celtics coming off a 17-point win here of the Portland Trailblazers, Eddie, and saw the Celtics up by about 7 at the half and then able to just take care of business there in the second.
Yeah, we talked about it at halftime. The offensive rebounds was the issue. I thought they didn't run them off enough threes. They were able to hold them to only 6 offensive rebounds in the second. And the Blazers only made 4 threes in the second half. And we shared the basketball, got back to Celtics brand of basketball, getting stops, and then sharing the basketball on the other end. And that's why you see so many guys in double figures. I believe it was 6 guys in double figures. They were sharing the wealth, but it all started with their defense.
And Jaylen Brown with 26 points to lead the way for the Celtics. He's actually standing by with Abby Chin back at the Garden.
Jaylen, congratulations, 10,000 career points. Only the 15th Celtic to reach that accomplishment. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot, man. A lot of hard work. It's been a great journey, and we're still looking forward to what's next. Hopefully another 10,000 in me.
Did you know you were that close? You called yourself for a travel on the layup.
No, I wasn't paying attention to it, but I knew I was going to get it this game. But, it's just an honor to be out here playing with your teammates. So it's a great accomplishment.
No question. What can you say about that Stay Ready group taking over here in the fourth quarter and closing out this game?
Yeah, man, we're a great team top to bottom. The chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and we got no weak links. Our guys come out ready to play, and a lot of times they're the ones running and controlling the game. So going into the playoffs, we're looking for each night somebody to step up and be big for us.
I mean, Payton stepped up a lot, but but how much trouble are you going to give him for not throwing down a dunk on that breakaway?
You know, Payton be talking all that trash about how much bounce he got and how athletic he is, and he had a perfect opportunity right there, and we've seen what he did, you know. But, you know, I'm going to tease him about that, but, you know, Payton's a dog, so it's great to see him playing well right now, and we're playing good right now.
Finally, nice to see former teammates. Saw you share a moment with Rob Williams and Malcolm Brogdon. How are those guys doing, and how strong is the brotherhood?
It's great. You know, those are my guys. Malcolm, growing up with him, watching him play in high school. Rob, you know, being drafted here. You know, we played so many years together. So, you know, it's always a great time seeing them, and I wish them well on their journey. And I'm just hopefully their family is doing well, because it's nothing but love.
Jaylen, thank you. Congratulations again.
All right, thank you.
All right, so Jaylen Brown, as Abby mentioned there, he needed 17 points to get to 10,000 for his career tonight. Was able to do that pretty early in the third quarter, Eddie. And I think more than anything, you know, you go back to Wednesday's game where he had that big fourth quarter, but was coming off, you know, the strained ligament in his left hand. I think you kind of were wondering, how's that going to look? How are these guys going to look down the stretch? And I thought he looked pretty good tonight.
Yeah, was it ever in doubt that he's going to get 10,000 tonight? He needed 17. We know for sure with no Jason Tatum out there, we know that he was about to go to work. You know he was going to get many opportunities. And this is the thing. I think that the teammates were aware of that as well, and so was the coaching staff. So put him in positions to where he could get buckets, to put him in aggressive situations, get him easy looks and things like that. So I thought early on they did a lot of that, and that is a credit to his teammates. That's a credit to the coaching staff being aware that he has a milestone. They said only the 15th Celtic to do this, and we're talking about the most historic franchise in NBA history. To be on that list, it's a great accomplishment. But, I mean, JB, talk about his leaps and bounds, I think, that he made this year. You know, his ball handling, taking care of the basketball, opening up his game, but also playing a great defensive game. He's been taking a lot of the guys, main guys, when it's in crunch time, and he's been taking that challenge. So just to look at the growth that he has made from last season to right now, and man, I love seeing it.
Yeah, Eddie just brought it up. Scal's going to join us now. And, I mean, for Jaylen Brown to be, you know, one of just 15 guys, considering all the history surrounding the Celtics and everything that has been done within this franchise, Scal, can you put into perspective what that means to score 10,000 points?
You know, I think we all know he was going to score 10,000 points. Like, Jaylen Brown's legit. I just think we should focus in on the stuff that Eddie was talking about. So he's All-NBA last year, and he has an opportunity to sign the biggest contract in NBA history. There's a lot of dudes that would be fat cat, and that just happens around the league. Now, I'm not saying that those guys don't continue to play hard or anything, but you could tell Jaylen Brown was in the lab. His body looks better. He keeps on working, and he has bigger dreams and goals than just being All-NBA and signing a big contract. He has goals of winning a championship, goals of probably being an MVP one day. So Jaylen Brown has really improved this season. And I think more than anything, and sometimes we don't give enough credit to the defensive side of the ball, Jaylen Brown takes on those matchups night in and night out. So he's taking care of the basketball. He's getting downhill. He's shooting it better. He puts in the work. He's going to be an All-NBA player once again, and he takes that defensive assignment. What's not to love about Jaylen Brown?
And let's talk about Payton Pritchard, Eddie, because once again, 20 points, 8 assists for Payton Pritchard, and he did half of that in the first half as well. With the starting group for a bulk of that, where I think 10 points, he was perfect in the first half, 10 points, 2 assists. But Scal was he was describing in the broadcast how he still thinks that there are jumps that he can make, that he can get even better. How are you seeing Payton Pritchard, where he's at and where he can go?
Well, it's wherever he wants to go, because he's a gym rat. He loves to stay in the gym. I'm telling you, I've talked to the coaches, and when they land in certain cities on the road, the first thing he does is call the coach and say, hey, let's go hit a gym. Let's go get some shots up. So he's constantly working on his craft, working on his game. He watches the game. He loves the game of basketball. So good comes to good. When you put all your life and energy and everything, your whole heart into something, and you coming from a good place, great things end up happening. And he just continues to just keep his head down and play. Does he feel like he should probably play more minutes at times? Yes, he does. But does he complain? No. What does he do? Gets back in the lab, goes to work, studies the game, watches film, being a great teammate. So I'm not surprised at his success, and I think that he can take another level, another step up in his game. And I really believe that he's going to have a big moment in not only one playoff game or one playoff series. I think he's going to be a vital part of what we're doing to win a championship. It's going to be a couple games in each, one game or two games in each series where you look back and say, and it's not going to be like something where he had 30 points or anything like that, but you look at him and say, man, he gave us great minutes at that time. He did this, whether it would be pick up a guy full court to disrupt and change the pace of the game or just be knocking down shots. So I think he's really going to have a big effect on us winning the championship. Just like Jaylen said, it's going to be these other guys. We're going to need them to step up, and I think Payton Pritchard is ready for it.
All right, well, tonight he was a game high, plus 19 on the floor. Meanwhile, he also was leading the way with that fourth quarter group when you saw Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, Xavier Tillmans, Fima Hailuk, O'Shea Brissett, all those guys kind of mixing in and hanging on to get this win. What did you think of the play of those guys, the Stay Ready group?
I like that. You know what they say, right? You stay ready so you ain't got to get ready, right? So these guys are staying ready. So they constantly are, when you throw them in, it's a plug and play. You know, they're sitting over there, they're antsy. And I know what it's like coming off the bench and you feel like you should be playing. You got to stay prepared. So when your number is called, you can take advantage of the minutes and the moments that you're getting right then. And I think this team has done a great job of that. First off, the reason why they're like that, the second unit, the Stay Ready group, is because the selflessness of the stars and the first unit. Those guys that are always on the court, they're selfless, they're supportive, and they know how hard it is and what kind of work you got to put in to stay ready in these type of situations. And I mean, I love it. I love seeing guys coming in and being able to contribute, even though they might not have played 2 or 3 games. I know how hard it is. I've been in that situation, but it does feel good when you can reap the benefits of your hard work, and then everybody else also pays attention and they respect it as well.
Jaylen, let's just start with the 10,000 point milestone. We know that you're focused on winning and all of that stuff, but an individual like that, an individual milestone like that must mean a lot for you.
It definitely does. And don't want to skip over that. It's been a great journey. Even though the journey is still going, just take the moments out to just appreciate all the work, all the hard work, the effort is going into even getting to this point. It's been ups, it's been downs. Things haven't gone my way. Things have, and here we are. So I'm incredibly grateful, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit more about that? The journey to this point. Obviously, there's a lot more moving forward, but how important is it for you to take a second when these opportunities present themselves to be like, you know what, I've done this, I've accomplished this, to just kind of like appreciate what you've accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it speaks for itself. Just coming from my background, single parent household, just my family, being able to have an opportunity to just change things. It's just, when you look back on everything, it's just, all I can say is I'm incredibly grateful, to be in this position. And it's been a lot of hard work and effort, but I'm extremely blessed at the same time. So I don't take that for granted, and I'm looking forward to just continue to grow, continue to improve, and maximize my potential.
Jaylen, another night where Joe closes with the second unit, the Stay Ready crew. When it's clear your night is over, it looks like your night's over, what are your responsibilities, if any, sitting on the bench?
Just to cheer those guys on, support them, just the same way they support me and us when we're out there, the first group. So just supporting them, giving them energy. That's it, really, just being an ear for them, telling them, yelling out the coverages or whatever else is going on, just being a good teammate.
Jaylen, sort of building on that, Joe talks a lot about holding those guys to the same standards that you're held to. What is it like being able to watch them go out there and have this opportunity to show off everything they've worked on all year behind the scenes as they've been, quote unquote, like staying ready, like Joe says?
It just shows, that we're well coached, that we're well organized, and then we got a lot of talent, but we flow with a continuity about ourselves. We get organized, we get the guys shots where they are in their strengths and their strong suits, and we kind of play to that. And I think that is a testament to how much our guys work, but also our coaching staff, to make sure we organize and making sure we're playing in our strengths and making sure we're getting good shots every time down. So it's a combination of all of that.
Today was the 62nd win. That's tied for the 6th most in franchise history in the regular season. This being your 8th season here, what does that accomplishment mean to you?
It's great. Anytime that you can win at a high level, you don't take that for granted. I don't think these are the most regular season wins I've ever had in my career. So that's awesome, man. And that's just, it's just been great from top to bottom. Looking forward to carrying it over to the playoffs, but you still don't want to skip over, how much work it takes to win 62 games and still counting in a season. Same thing, kind of scoring 10,000 points. It's just a lot of hard work and effort over the years and accumulated, and you just want to take some of those moments to appreciate it, and then you get back to work.
Jaylen, speaking of the milestone again, if I may, once more, it's not often that a player gets a moment where the fans can give something back to him like that. What was that moment like for you?
It was great, especially all of the supporters who've been, supporting me from day one. Obviously, things have been, up and down throughout the early stages of my career, and I've been able to get different opportunities. I've been able to improve, but also been able to gain more responsibility. But for the day one, the JB fans who've stayed in my corner since day one, I feel that love, and I like to just show that love right back. It's a lot of people here in Boston who have supported my career, my journey, and I'm grateful for that. And that encourages me to just keep getting better. That encourages me to keep proving the naysayers or the critics wrong, and just keep leveling up.
I'm very excited. I mean, last year I was sitting back home in Latvia, just following the results and watching the games and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself of course it's nice to finish the season early, but there's nothing else to do. What is there better to do than play basketball right now? Nothing. You know what I mean? You can just go for a little vacation, but it's not this is what I love to do. I want to be. I don't get burnt out. Oh, I need rest. I just love basketball so much, and especially playing here and playing in the postseason is going to be incredible, So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, physically and mentally. But if we want to achieve what we want to achieve, then it's not going to be easy. So we have to count with that for sure.
Is this the most fun you've had playing as a professional?
Probably yes. In the NBA, I think. I don't know. It's hard to compare because my time in New York was also out of this world, right? Rookie, coming on this big stage, but and then you haven't signed any big deals, so there's no expectations for you. You're just playing free and beating all the expectations, right? And then even before that, when I was living in the south of Spain, and you have one game a week, and you win, and you go and sit outside. It's a 12 o'clock game, and you're a young guy, young team who are winning in the playoffs. Those are also some good memories that I have. And but right now, I think this could be one of the most fun moments for me, for sure. And as I've said, just playing at this place is probably my favorite place.
Final week. Here we go. 7 days, 4 games. And then bring on a week break while we wait for the play-in to be decided. But it starts Tuesday night up in Milwaukee, the final regular season road game of the year against the Bucks. We'll see how each team plays this. Bucks are really going through it right now. As I tape this, they were down to the New York Knicks in the fourth quarter, potentially stumbling towards their 4th straight loss. And really one of the only signature wins they've got on that docket is pre-doc when the Celtics went up there on the second night of a back-to-back and got absolutely destroyed. And so do the Celtics play this as a last dress rehearsal for the playoffs and run all the starters out there big minutes, or do they send a group up there but rest the main not the main? Every time I say the main guys, I think everyone thinks I'm adding an E at the end. Do they throw the stay ready group in there and ride those guys against this, and just in case you see them in the playoff? So I'm very fascinated to see exactly how both sides go about this one. There's no secrets in the NBA. If the Celtics do play their starters, there's not like it's going to be like, oh my God, they have Kristaps Porzingis now. That's so different. I do think they're just going to have to kind of map out the week. And with the back-to-back looming later, I wonder how exactly which spot they'll pick to kind of maybe have one last game where all the starters are out there, or to run guys a little bit longer and get them ready for postseason-like minutes, maybe get a look at that rotation. So maybe that's Tuesday night, maybe it's later in the week, and then they downshift on the second night of a back-to-back or whatever the case may be. But we'll be here with you for it all. We'll also be keeping an eye on the Maine Celtics. So should work that into the start of the pod. Maine Celtics winning tonight on to the finals of the G League. They'll play best-of-3 series now. So Jordan Walsh, Neemias Queta, J.D. Davis, and all those guys. You could hear there was some cheering in the Celtics locker room as guys were hoping they'd get to the finish line of that win, and they did. And so one Celtics team is in the finals. It's just like we kind of always knew it would be. Let's see if we can get two. We'll be back with you later on Tuesday night. Go like, subscribe, check us out on the YouTube page. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk podcast.